Okay, Mazen, it's been big events in Syria in recent weeks. So what do you think about the situation in Syria at the moment now?
The situation has some good prospects for the Syrian people and some risks also. The Assad regime disappeared. This is a good news for the Syrians. On the other side, the collapse of the regime or the defeat of the regime was not by the hands of the Syrians per se, but by the hands of one faction of the opposition with Islamists or more than that. We can say even about their background. Opposition. So the risks are there. The prospects for real democracy or for a new era of struggle for the people of Syria, for the masses, for the oppressed in Syria, could be a new chapter. On the other side, it could bring some risks for a new authoritarian dictatorship or rule that could oppress or repress for more coming years the Syrians and repress their own dreams about freedom and about equality and about a new era of Syrian history.
So what steps has Hayat Tahrir al-Sham taken so far, the new regime?
Till now they are trying to behave. It looks like their backers, the local, and after the last visit of some US diplomat to Damascus and the meeting with Julani, or Al-Shara now as he is known nowadays, it looks like that the US choose to go with to give the Julani or Al-Shara some chance. On the other side, they are trying to start a process of Islamization of the public spaces of universities, of even almost everywhere. They are not doing that one in one great step or in one jump, but they are trying to do it step by step. I don't know how much wise it is, but yesterday there was a demonstration in the middle of Damascus. Hundreds, maybe a few thousands came out to demand civil and democratic Syria, even secular one. And this started a big debate on social media and on the streets about those represent the old regime, Assad regime, and it's difficult to say the two words in one sentence, freedom or democracy and Assad regime. But I can say that this looks like a stain or a stone in the water that had some impact on the current debates and current or maybe the progress of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham program of Islamization. On the other side, openly they said that they will go for liberal or neoliberal even economy, and we can say that Assad started this process, the father first in the 90s, then the son, and privatization was on the agenda all the time. Of course, the sanctions and the corruption of Assad regime and his officials made the economical situation is so much devastated and for the masses. But no one can expect rapid changes in this situation. We don't know if the class struggle will be on the agenda again for the Syrian masses. Maybe now it's time for just contemplation and observation. Maybe this is what the Syrian masses is trying to do for the time being. And if the situation is not improving on both the political side and on the economical and social side, there could be some emergence of social or class struggle again. But
can you give some example of these steps towards Islamization that HTS has taken?
First of all, they are trying to make some segregation between males and females. They told some places, they told the female lawyers that they are not able to go to the courts anymore and defend or practice their own profession. They are trying to do that one even in hospitals. They started to perform prayers in the universities. They are trying to not to impose hijab or headscarf in one shot, but they are trying to do it step by step. And they are trying also, and on the same time, as happened yesterday when they talked about democratic and secular Syria, they are trying to accuse them that they represent the old regime, that they represent the West, they are West Asians. And in fact, it's not right, because the people who were in the streets yesterday, or the day before, they were just ordinary people. There were some artists, there were some intellectuals, but there were also ordinary people, females who are worried about their own rights in the future. So they are trying to voice, to speak up their own concerns, and we will see if that means that the process of Islamization will not go without resistance. We don't know to how much extent that resistance could be, or the impact on its impact on the process of Islamization, but we will wait and see. It's not that big a demonstration, but it had some impact, because it looks like that the Islamist has no resistance on the ground, but that few thousand could make it to the street and in the heart of Damascus, that could say something. We are waiting also for the response of the females, because in Syria the females used to go. We have a high percentage of highly educated, and they are used to practice their own professions. They have some degree of we can say equality, because Assad regime was not concerned about that, but they have some degree of rights that I think Hayat Tahrir Sham is not happy with, and we will see what will be the outcome of such confrontation.
What is the relationship between HTS and Turkey?
In fact, we can say that there is a strong relationship. Before, Hayat Tahrir Sham resided in Idlib, and they have only borders with Turkey, and without some help or some relationship with Turkey, it was impossible for them to survive, or even to thrive, and to be able to prepare for such an operation or attack they could perform. There is another faction, that is the Syrian National Army, that is directly reported to Turkey, but Turkey is considered the main backup, the main of Hayat Tahrir Sham, and they have the highest influence on Hayat Tahrir Sham. Hayat Tahrir Sham is trying to pretend that they are totally independent, and they don't have. It's important for their own propaganda. They came from Islamist background, and they want to say that they have no connection with the West, or because Turkey is part of the NATO, even if it is governed by an Islamist party for now 2-3 decades. So, but in fact, they are the main backer of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. And if we take the geopolitical situation, Turkey or Erdogan government is considered the winner of what happened in Syria, and that Russia and the Iranian regimes are those who are the main losers of the disappearance of Assad.
What does it mean for the Kurds, the new regime?
The new regime, because of Turkey and because of some ultra-nationalist, we are used that the central government in Damascus has banned Arabic tendency, and for the decades, for the few last decades, they tried to make or dismiss the Kurds or try to repress the Kurds. We have more than 100,000 Kurds without Syrian nationality or without Syrian citizenship. And the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, they don't like the Kurds, in fact, and they don't like not only they don't like the Kurds, maybe it's okay for them if they are only just second-hand citizens, but they don't like their own struggle for self-determination or for some sort of local governance. So I think they are with the Turkish backing, they are trying, or they will do all they can to go into Rojava and force the Kurds to submission to the central government. We doubt that they are going to behave more than the Ba'athist, pan-nationalist or pan-Arab nationalist party did in the past. And even they consider the Kurds to be Muslims and they have rights like other Muslims, but I think they are also they gather both. I can't say they are for Islamist supremacy, but for sure they are not considering minorities, either they are religious or ethnic minorities in Syria, as full citizens of Syria, and I doubt they believe in equality among the Syrians.
What has HDS said about Israel and about Hamas, and what is the view of the new Israeli bombing and entrance into Syria?
In fact, what Jolani is trying, or Ashara now, as he is known, he is trying to avoid direct confrontation with Israel. In fact, to some extent, he is not even as the rhetoric about Palestine was always part of the Islamist propaganda in the Middle East, but he is not trying even to confront or to even go to the international or to ask the international communities or to community to interfere and to force Israel to get out of the buffer zone or the other parts of the Syrian soil that they occupied recently. I think Israel is a little bit happy with Hayat Tahrir al-Sham could cut the supply line of Hezbollah for the time being. They are talking about hardly they are talking about Gaza. Before they were talking about Gaza and Palestine, because again it was part of the propaganda of the Islamist factions all over the Middle East. But now they are trying to avoid such issue for the time being. I think that, and Israel, of course, they did destroy all the capabilities of a regular Syrian army, even if the arms they destroyed were relatively old or not that effective against the high-tech Israeli army, but it could pose a threat in the hands of a willing enemy. So we can say now that the man is trying to avoid Israel for the time being. It was said that he told all the envoys who came to Damascus, who met him, that he is willing for some kind of peace. Maybe not an open peace, because it could have a devastation impact or on his own image among his own people or his own backers or his own followers. But I think he is not willing to confront Israel. And we can say about Gaza that Hamas is left alone now, aside from Al-Houthi, who are not able to wage a strong or to have any effect on what's going in Gaza. It's clear that with the coming of Trump, Netanyahu could go on with his plans if the atmosphere and if the neighbors of Israel will accept to get rid of the Palestinians of Gaza and maybe even in the West Bank.
This change, what does it mean for the Middle East as a region, the regional powers, and also the global geopolitics, with Iran being pushed back, as well as Hezbollah, and Israel and Turkey seen as a bit of winners? What does it mean?
I have to start with some words about Assad regime per se. For Assad regime is one of the last pan-nationalist regimes that they pretend to be anti-imperialist, and they were to some extent have some strong resemblance to the Stalinist regimes or governments in East Europe once. The fall of Assad and the collapse in such way, that is the collapse of the army, the unwilling of his army to defend him, it could add to the lessons of the 90s about that Stalinist regimes were only fake socialist regimes. On the other side, in fact, Assad was an active player in the Middle East geopolitics. He was a close ally of Iran. He was, I can say, a puppy of Putin. And the collapse of, or his disappearance has a big impact on the geopolitics of the Middle East. On one side now, we used to have two blocs, Iran and its allies on one side, Israel and some moderate Arab governments on the other side. Now we have two other blocs. It's Turkey, maybe Qatar, and Syria, the new Syria. And on the other side, we have Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, because these Arab governments, they are afraid that what happened in Syria could give a post for Islamists in other places where they are strong enough to maybe to pose a threat on the local government. This is an authoritarian, this is a conflict between authoritarian regimes, repressive regimes, and it doesn't have anything to do with the freedom of people or a new Middle East that could be really for the sake or can satisfy the needs and hopes of the people there. Anyhow, now Turkey has the upper hand in Syria and has a stronger position in the region overall. They have a stronger presence in Libya. Putin is trying to compensate for his loss in Syria by a stronger presence and maybe some advantages in Libya. He sent some, maybe few thousands of the soldiers, Assad soldiers who escaped to Iraq. He sent them to Libya now, and to compensate for the weakness of Wagner after the conflict between him and the ex-leader of Wagner. So we can say that there is a shift of the power in the Middle East, but it doesn't mean that peace is coming tomorrow, or that it means a lot for the people. It's a new era of struggle for the people, starting from Palestine to Syrian people per se, and to the Kurds, to other minorities, even to the everybody in the region.
In Syria now, are there any workers' organizations or any left organizations or anything that could pull together resistance both to the new regime and move forward?
For the time being, we don't have. We have a few organizations. First of all, we have the Stalinist ones who were allies with Assad and who are now facing a very bad situation. Not only that their own master disappeared, but also that, not only maybe the revenge of the rebels, but also they are now they have a very bad reputation among the people because they backed a dictator like Assad. On the other side, we have two opposition parties. What's called the Syrian Communist Party Political Bureau, the Worker or the Labor Communist Party. They are old parties, were part of the opposition, but they are very weakened now, and they have very low membership. We have also few other youth. What I can say, it's not organizations, it's very it's less than an organization or unions. They don't have that strong unity or strong even not only ideological background, but even they don't have objects. They are united according to some small issue here and there, but they have some strong left leaning. And in Syria for a long time, to speak about the masses or speak about freedom, to speak about the rights of the workers or the women, that means to be one, to get your background from the left, even if you are not an organized one. Unfortunately, that big heritage now is very weak, and we are looking for. We don't have also worker unions or other trade unions. We are looking. Maybe we don't know now if the people could escalate their own demands and could start some independent unions and trade unions, and that could have a more serious impact on the struggle, the ongoing struggle that is now mainly among secular and among religious factions of the opposition, that the whole debate now is almost on the one issue, that is the relation between religion and the state, not the society religion, and that is because of Hayat Tahrir Sham is concerned about, is willing to Islamize and to force its own version of Islam and dogmas on the people, and its own conduct or ethics or whatever they are trying to, that females should be kept away from males, that they should kept in the homes. In fact, it reminds me with what happened with Taliban. Everybody thought that Taliban, in its second shift in power, will behave better than what they did in the first one, but it came to be worse, unfortunately, in some aspects. But again, Hayat Tahrir Sham is not the only one. They have the arms on the streets, and nobody militarily can oppose them. But if they will be faced with a strong resistance, popular resistance, they are not going to implement everything they want. They cannot decide 100%, but and that is a big threat, of course, that we don't know if it's very early to say about the Middle Ages and those other stuff, but the threat is there, and the people is trying. It looks like that there is a I cannot say strong tendency, but there is some tendency to fight back, and we will see what. And this, and some people, if they started to fight back, maybe this also will invite, or will others will be moved and will join the struggle. And we think also that on the social, in the economical part of the issue, we are sure that following neoliberal agenda or recipes will not solve any problem, especially for the oppressed, especially for the poor, especially for the workers, the farmers, and the corruption of the old regime will be substituted with the corruption of the new ones if we have no real democracy, and if people can't speak up and expose those corrupt officials or politicians. So it's a big battle in front of us, and we think that there are signs that people are willing to fight. And the outcome is not yet confirmed, or not yet for sure. Nobody can say what could happen. The prospects are high. We are without Assad regime. The empire of his own repressive agencies or police, multiple police agencies, and what everybody saw is not there. But the threat of a new authoritarian and repressive regime, exploitive regime, is there, and the possibility of better conditions for a social and class struggle is there also. That the masses could be able to organize themselves in a better and more democratic way.
So, International Socialist Alternative, we're putting forward a socialist program for democratic rights for minorities, for women, and so on. Do you think we will find people now, Syrians in exile or in Syria, that want to put forward such a program?
I am sure that with time, people will start to look for alternatives. In fact, the issue of alternative now was used by Assad, and now is used by Hayat Tahrir Sham. They are trying, there is no alternative to us. In fact, there is an alternative. And the impact of the collapse of the Soviet Union and the ex-socialist is still felt on the streets and among the people, that they are not able to recognize their own class interests sometimes, or even keep the fight up to the end for a real socialist alternative. But I think with time, it's with the escalation of the struggle, with that people, in fact, we have very brave people. Some of the people who took to the streets yesterday, the females who went and spoke up for a civil Syria, for a secular Syria, for a democratic Syria, for that respect human rights, that respect the women's rights. It was not a small thing to happen in the middle of Damascus, even with that place is totally surrounded by Hayat Tahrir Sham soldiers and fighters. So I am sure that people who are trying to look for an alternative, who are trying to look for an ideal for their own struggle and for their own to formulate their own the new world they are wishing for, willing for, they are struggling for, they are looking for, and by time I am sure that those people will find that the socialist alternative is their own alternative, and that the one they should fight for.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.